I cannot imagine what it is like to be part of a team on Speed Week. Whether it's Ohio Speed Week, Pennsylvania, they're going 10 straight in Pennsylvania this year. I just can't even fathom what that is like. I go to like 3 races on some weekends, and I'm junked for like 2 weeks after it. I mean, this is unreal. Justin Fiedler sitting in for Aaron. I mean, Speed Weeks, they're one of these neat things we have in dirt track racing that make no sense at all.
No, I feel like from our perspective as fans, it's great, right? We have racing to watch every single night. It's like, man, you know, like, you start out on a Monday or, whatever day of the week you start out and it's like, man, every single night this week, I'm going to be able to have something to watch. I'm going to be able to go to the track every single night. You forget that at the end of the night, these guys now have to go turn these cars around. They got to go to the car wash. They got to service these things. There's all this work to do. They're getting 3 hours of sleep, and then they got to be right back at the racetrack the next day. And so, like, from our perspective, it's great. From their perspective, it's definitely a tough stretch.
I get a kick out of it. Justin does a lot of work in the NASCAR world. He's on the pit crew for Richard Petty Motorsports. I do as well, and I get a chance also to do a lot of other forms of racing. And I was talking to some NASCAR-style late model stock guys, asphalt late model stock guys, and they're like, they run once a week, and they're exhausted, they're wore out. And I'm not. This is not a slight at them because they bust their tails.
That's just how much work it is.
How much work it is.
Yeah,
they're like, I don't even comprehend how these sprint car guys do it. And it's just a fascinating part about dirt track racing. Late models, they have that hell tour where they go like 28 races in 29 nights or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, well, Dietrich's trying to do something stupid like that too, where he's doing Ohio and then he's coming back to do Pennsylvania.
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah, I mean, Dietrich lost his mind. That's kind of redundant there.
Yeah.
It's just amazes me what these speed weeks are. From our perspective, and this started here, we have USAC Midget Indiana Speed Week. I mean, from a pay-per-view perspective, we're just like a blessed beyond belief in races.
Yeah. I mean, like my favorite thing is when you get midweek shows, right? Because it's like everything is so concentrated on the weekends, but then you get these speed weeks. It's like, man, on Monday night I got something to watch. On Tuesday night I got something to watch. On Wednesday night, it's like, it's perfect.
Yeah, it really is. It's phenomenal. He's Justin Fiedler. I'm Steve Post. This is Wing Nation, the podcast presented by DRYDENE by DRF Racing Oils. We're in the Hercules Tires studios. Justin, of course, you can follow along with all of his endeavors, dirttracker.com. DirtTracker.com. I saw recently you had a reunion with our buddy Ross Weiss.
I did. Yeah, Ross is on our side now. He's in the NASCAR world.
I know he is, yes.
So we always talked about him joining the dark side now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's doing some video work for Stuart Haas, and I figured it was time to get the band back together and have a little show and kind of go back over things. But really fun to catch up with Ross, and it's interesting because I see him like almost as much now as I did when I worked with him at World Racing Group because he's always at the racetrack now. So me and him catch up all the time, but definitely something we're going to have to do more often, get on and talk some dirt racing.
Yeah, it really, truly is. That's one of the conversations you can find at dirttracker.com, and they're always neat stuff, that is for sure. Ross, many of you know Ross from Open Red. Justin and Ross did Open Red for years and years. Ross was a video production guy for the World Racing Group, was able to move over to Stuart Haas Racing, and man, his work is phenomenal. The projects he's working on. He did the around Bristol. He did the Return to Dirt for Chase Briscoe, and what a tremendous video project he did.
He has got an incredible eye, and it was always interesting to me to talk to him about his video work. And he would pick his music first, and then he would go shoot the scenes that he wanted to fit the music. That seems completely backwards to me.
No kid, yeah.
But that's just how he that was his process, and that it came together so well so many times.
So bad for him. I ran into him at Charlotte. I ran into him in Millbridge a couple weeks ago, and you guys were out at Sonoma, and there was no local tracks running on Saturday night for sprint cars.
Unfortunately,
he was just all tore up about that. He says, "We're going to Northern California, and nobody has a sprint car race for me to watch.
Can't get to anything.
Can't get to anything. Neat stuff, that's for sure." Getting back to the Speed Week topic, we are going to talk about Speed Week and a guy that has been through multiple Speed Weeks, Paul McMahan, regular competitor with the CJB racing team on the Flow Racing All-Star Circuit of Champions. We'll talk to Paul about what it's like to be in the throes of a Speed Week, and with Paul, we'll talk about a whole lot more. Before we get to that, though, Saturday night, speaking of the All-Stars, they were in Sheboygan up at the Plymouth Dirt Track. Ian Madsen with the lead, not for long. The North Pole Nightmare, Bill Balog coming through. Here's Blake Anderson with the call on Flow Racing.
And now for the DRYDENE DEF-DEFYING Move of the Week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
We're working on lap 4. Off of turn number 4, we'll click off lap 4, and Baylog right there on the back bumper, now to the inside. Baylog to the lead, and the crowd goes nuts.
That DEF-DEFYING move was brought to you by DRYDENE Diesel All DEF, the official DEF of the world of outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit DRYDENE.com for more information.
For decades, DRYDENE lubricants has been made in America and made to last, paving the way on our highways, in our fields, and on the production line. Today, DRYDENE offers a complete line of engine oils, greases, hydraulic and transmission fluids, and diesel exhaust fluid. If you want greater performance and protection for your critical engines and equipment, go to DRYDENE.com. DRYDENE, American-owned and operated, and a proud supporter of racing and race fans everywhere. Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength. Wing Nation, presented by DRYDENE by DRF Racing Oils, continues on. Justin Fiedler filling in for Erin Evernham. She's on special assignment this week. And let's go to the Sage Fruit Hotline, joining us fresh off from 4 nights of racing, getting ready for 72 or something like that. Paul McMahan joins us. Hello, Paul. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hi, Steve. How are you guys doing today?
We are doing good. Paul, Justin and I spent the first part of this show talking about how great Speed Weeks are from a fan's perspective. And then we were kind of like, well, we're not sure how it is from a driver and team's perspective. From your perspective, Speed Weeks, like you have coming up at Ohio Speed Week, what is that like? What is the challenge? I mean, obviously it's contingent on the car and that sort of thing. How do you prepare for that?
Oh, you just got to, back of the shop, you got to be prepared, looking forward, coming into that week. My team at CJB, Barry went home this week. We had a Derek Miller at home all last week, get prepared for Speed Week, because it's a big deal. I mean, when you put, I think there's 7 races in 8 days, or 8 races in 9 days, or something like that. It's a very big task to take ahead. So you just got to make sure you're very prepared going into it.
Paul, you're going to hit up a bunch of different types of racetracks over the next couple of, over the next week anyway. How are you, with your notebook and working with Barry, how do you get yourself ready to go to different racetracks every week and have your, not only yourself as a driver prepared, but have the car prepared?
I mean, me being around as long as I have been, and Barry the same way, we've been to most of these tracks multiple times. So it might be a little bit easier on us than some of the guys that are doing it for the first time. But, Barry takes great notes and has notes from 20 some odd years, that he goes back and looks at. He's got several notebooks that he carries with him at all times. Sometimes we go deep in the well to try to find something to make it work. And some days we make new notes. So notebooks are very important, but we've been to a lot of these racetracks time. So, we kind of know where we're going to start and go from there.
It fascinates me because you talk about different things. How do things though evolve in the sport? You talk about notebooks, and notebooks are great, but are there things that evolve in the sport where what worked at Attica last time during the summer, or last time during the spring? How much does that change? Do things evolve in the sport?
Oh, it definitely changed every time you go. It's dirt track racing. The tracks are never the same day in and day out. So that's a nice thing about having so many years of notes that we can, this is what we did at this time when the track was this way, or, you can look back in notes from, like I said, Barry has notes from 20 years back. So we can go through notes and see what we've done, but sometimes you just got to play it off the cuff and make a decision at the racetrack what it's doing that night and go from there. Notebooks are just kind of give you ideas of what you did before. Sometimes, the cars aren't the same, the motors aren't the same, tires aren't the same. Everything's changed over the years, so it just gives you ideas of things you might want to try if you're struggling. The notebook's always there to go back and look at.
When you get into a stretch like Ohio Sprint Speed Week, you're obviously up against all of the all-star competitors that you race on a nightly basis anyway. But when you go to an area like Ohio where there's just so many good drivers, across the different racetracks, how difficult is it on a night-to-night basis to not even win, but just make features and try to have decent finishes there?
Oh, it's very tough. The way the format is, you could draw a heat race because you only qualify against your heat race crew. With the All-Stars. So there's some nights you can have 8 to 10 guys that are capable of winning the race that night in your heat. I know a couple of years ago I qualified 7th overall out of the whole 50 some odd race cars, but I was 5th in my group, so I missed version in my heat race.
Wow.
And then got in a little bit of somebody crashed, and I got involved, wasn't able to get back out. I ended up in the C main, being 5th quick. So it's one of those deals that Ohio Speedway is really, really tough to win and really, really tough to win races also.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't even fathom what it's like night after night after night. One of the things I didn't realize this, and we talked a little bit about this, Justin and I did earlier this week on our podcast. The community, the camaraderie, the traveling up and down the road. We talked about Stephanie Linder and all of the stuff that she gathers up, everything from Taco Bell gift cards to water and everything like that. Paul, what's that sense of community like as you guys travel up and down the road during one of these weeks?
Just bringing up Stephanie, she's done that for many, many years. And, it's great the way the fans come in. And just, sometimes the fans will just stop by the hotel and drop water off because it's, usually in Ohio in the middle of June, it's very hot. So the fans, support the Speed Week so well, and then they also help out the driver. I'm orders for car washes, and Stephanie always takes our uniforms and washes them if need be. And it's just a great atmosphere, great. The racing community is a big family. We're a dysfunctional family at times, but we are a big family. And, it's great to see the fans come out and support us like they do. And then the things that Stephanie sets up with the fans is also greatly appreciated by all teams.
Paul, for you as a driver, when you enter a week like this, the mental and physical challenges of being in the sprint car so many times, how do you prepare yourself for that? Are you, is it hydration? Is there a workout program? Are you trying to get as much sleep as you can? Like, what are those things that you can do to try to maximize your success over a week like this?
The biggest thing is, your hydration is the biggest part. You get so dehydrated if you don't drink a lot of water. But the workout routine should have been done back in January. You're just kind of maintaining your strengths, and you really don't want to work out too hard, that week because you're racing so much. So you just kind of make sure you're always hydrated, get enough rest, and try to stay in the AC as much as you can.
I cannot imagine the luxury of going into an Ohio Speed Week with Barry Jackson as the team manager. There's great crew chiefs out there, and then there's small teams that maybe don't have a great crew chief or are struggling with that. The luxury of having someone that is so well organized and buttoned up like Barry, Paul, that has got to be extremely comforting on the eve of this big week.
Yeah, most definitely. The biggest thing to win in races is you got to be prepared. And Barry's very well prepared, very organized. And like I said, he kept somebody back at the shop this last week while we were out in Wisconsin to get prepared, because right after Ohio Speed Week, we got PA Speed Week. So we got to be prepared for, I think it's 18 races in 20 days or something like that, 18 days, something like that. I don't know. It's a lot of races in a short period of time. So, you got to be prepared. Barry's he's the one guy I'd want my corner to be prepared for a stretch like that.
Paul, what happened? You were supposed to be out of sprint car racing at this point, right? And now all of a sudden you're running all of these races. Like what happened?
Well, I mean, when Brent Marks was my teammate at JB, and he was going to run the All-Stars, and I had about a 55-60 race schedule made up for myself. And then when Brent left, that the Chad and Barry, they committed to running the All-Stars. So when he left, the smartest thing for them was to bring me on, and because I was already there, and bring me on to run the All-Stars. And, I only had two things that I wanted to do this year that I was not going to miss was my daughter's graduation, and one of my best friends' son was getting married. So I didn't want to miss those, and those just happened to fall on non-All-Star weekend. And so I missed the very first race of the All-Star race because we weren't planning on running it. And then, when Brent left, that opened the door up to bring me out full time with the All-Stars. It wasn't something I, was like begging to go do, but it was best for our team. I like to think myself as I'm a pretty good team player, so I just stepped up in that role, and we were full steam ahead. With the All-Stars, they recognize a drivers' championship, but they don't recognize drivers' championship as far as money goes. So it only goes into the owners are the only ones that get paid on the point plan. So as long as I can keep the CJB car up, and we have a chance at winning the owner side of the All-Star Championship. So that's our plan, and that's our goal.
Now, we understand the Ohio Speed Week because that's all-Star Series races. The Pennsylvania Speed Week portion of that does that fall back on what you were going to do before Brent left? Was that, and because CJB is a Pennsylvania team, that's why that is so important to you guys as well?
Yeah, exactly. When we first started this, I was not going to run Ohio Speed Week and just focus on going to PA Speed Week, and now we're doing both. Brent was going to be at some of the races in the Pennsylvania Speed Week, but not all of them. And so, that was my main plan, was to go run PA Speed Week. I told Barry when I did this, because I've won a California Speed Week, I've won Ohio Speed Week, I've never ran a PA Speed Week, so I wanted an opportunity to try to win all three of the Speed Week championships that they had that I've been a part of. So that's what we were focusing on, and then it all changed. But we decided at one point we were going to go out to Minnesota and Sioux Falls, I think it is, Jackson and Houston, and then we changed our mind, and it's just a perfect opportunity to be close to home for our guys. They can work out of the shop every night. It's close to our sponsors with the CJB and RE Pearson Construction. It's close for them, so that's something we really wanted to focus on and do.
Paul, we've been listening to Johnny Gibson on his calls call you Paul's to the Wall for so many years now, but it seems like lately now we've got Blake Anderson calling you the mayor. And I heard that you kind of had gotten elected as the guy to kind of represent the drivers with the All-Star officials. How did that happen?
Well, I'm old, and I've been around a long time, and a lot of these kids that run with the All-Stars haven't. So when, they don't like to say things, and I don't have a mind speaking or have a problem speaking my mind and letting the All-Stars know what I think is best for the series. I don't go in looking what's going to benefit me. I try to make the series better in the future. And it was just something I kind of got unwound one day at Devil's Bowl last year about something that I thought needed to be changed for the series, and they didn't want to do it. I spoke my mind and got called to the big trailer with Tony and spoke my mind there, and we got the rule changed the way I thought it should be, and they all the drivers agreed with me. So somehow they called me the mayor now. So I don't really care what they call me, as long as the name on my check clears every week. That's all that matters to me. I don't hear Paul's to the Wall, and I don't hear the mayor. So I've never knew so many people were so disturbed with my nicknames that I don't even know about or hear half the time.
Yeah, I know. I was just that cracks me up, just how people got twisted up about all of that, and like I said, I've heard the same thing too with the mayor. That's for sure. Paul, you mentioned, and we talked a little bit about this on our live show up at Port Royal, the young talent, particularly the young talent in the All-Stars. It seems like every time they roll on the track, someone new wins a race. I mean, I know that's a little over dramatic in the description, but man, you've got your hands full with the young talent on the tour this year.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, the All-Stars is a great stepping stone for kids that want to move up to the World of Outlaws. I mean, you look at Sheldon. He came from the All-Stars and moved up and dominant right now. I mean, probably one of the fastest cars night in, night out with the Outlaws. So, we got Zeb Weiss, we got Justin Peck. Sunshine is unconscious right now. I mean, he's doing such a fantastic job adapting to the wing from being a non-wing guy for so long that he's adapted so well, and his cars are working really well. But then, Corey Elias, you just go on down the list of drivers for the All-Stars. They can go win an outlaw race if at any given time if everything works out for them.
Paul, your history has included a couple of stops now with CJB, and I'm wondering, what about that team with Chad and Barry? Like, why is that so attractive to you to be able to run for a team like that?
I mean, one, they got great equipment, and two, you get to work with Barry Jackson. There's in my 35 years I've raced, me and Barry just always got along and always worked well together, and we've won a lot of races together. When the opportunity arose, last year when I left the 13 car, we were just going to go run Charlotte, and then Barry was talking about wanting to stay home a little bit more. Said, just kind of hold up a little bit. And I was out of a ride, so I was kind of contemplating, do I still want to do this? I'm starting to enjoy being at home more. I got a normal job at Quick Car Racing product. I was kind of thinking, what do I really want to do? And then, Barry came up with this 50, came to me with the 50 race schedule and being a teammate there at CJB. And it was just a perfect opportunity for me. When I left CJB in 2015, we didn't leave on bad terms. It was just, they wanted to go a different direction. Wasn't seeing the direction they were going was a good fit for me. And we left, but we split on good terms. Always stayed friends with Chad. Always stayed friends with Barry. If I ever needed anything from that time I wasn't driving from, I knew I could go to Chad and ask for something, and he would do it for me. So, we were together for years, and we became a family. And his son Braden, I watched him grow up. And we just became really, really close friends. Even when I wasn't driving for them, I'd go watch. They'd be down in Nashville for a hockey tournament with Braden, and we'd go watch Braden play hockey, go out to dinner, spend the evening together. We just stayed friends, and that's probably the main reason why I went back. Was just they're family, and I love them, and we have a lot of fun together.
That is so neat. That really, truly is that you have that relationship and that strength of that relationship. You mentioned Quick Car. You're involved in the motorsports world. You and I had a great conversation at Virginia Motor Speedway, and my question was, how bad did you miss racing during Speedweeks? You did not go to Florida for the first time, probably with the All-Stars, the World of Outlaws, and you shared with me you got to go to New Smyrna, you got to see Legends cars. What really struck me is you just seem like a fan of all of motorsports. I know this sprint car thing keeps you busy, but you just seem like you have a passion for everything that goes fast and goes around in circles.
Well, I mean, before I became a sprint car driver, I was a fan. I got to go to races, and so I thought it'd be weird when I first got there, but like I said, I had the mindset that I got to look for the future, and so when I got this job, I still get to go to some cool races. I mean, like I said, I went to New Smyrna, I went to watch Legends cars. I just get to go to races. Like you, Steve. How can you not like your job when you get to go to the races and get paid to do it?
Yep. It is. It's crazy. It really, truly is.
Paul, when I worked for the World of Outlaws, we always had fun with you because you always had travel problems. And I know from your perspective, from your perspective, it probably wasn't really funny, but from our perspective, it was pretty funny. And to this day, that continues. You literally just this week had a delayed flight. What travel god did you piss off along the way that has set you up now for all of these travel issues?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just when you travel as much as I do, you run into those issues. And when it first was happening, it was kind of irritating at first. But then you look back, you sit back and you realize that they can't. It's like a rainout. They can't control the weather. Some things break. Those things happen. Everybody works hard to make sure you're in the safest airplane or whatever. When you get in it, whether it's an airplane or a race car, they always make sure they're doing the best they can. So if you get delayed, you go back, you sit at the lounge and have a cold drink and some food and people watch and, put some stuff out on social media to entertain my fans. And, a lot of people, they look at it, they laugh, and, and that's what I want to do is just, bring some enjoyment to the fans out there while I'm not enjoying myself, but also not having a bad time either.
No, there's worse places in the world. Absolutely. Paul, final question for you. Jan and the kids, how's everyone doing? I know you talked about Kylie graduating. Braden looks like he's staying busy with all of his activities. Everyone in the family good?
Yeah, everybody's good. Jan just had a little surgery last week, but everything's doing good there. The kids are off doing their own thing. Kylie's, she graduated from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville there back in May, and she's actually got a job lined up starting in July. That's actually part of her bachelor's degree at the mental health hospital there in Knoxville. And Braden's back in school doing what he, trying to get his teaching degree and valeting cars downtown Nashville right now. So yeah, everybody's good. Jan's on summer break, so hopefully she gets healed up here in the next few weeks and gets to come to some races with me.
It was great catching up with you guys up at Port Royal, and we had a pie eating contest, and Jan actually was the one that tied my hair back, so I didn't get a higher hair in the chocolate pie, the contest that I won, by the way. So
that I could not watch. That was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Was 3 grown men face in a chocolate pie. I was just in the back gagging, like, I don't know how they could do that.
Well, it sounded good at the moment, Paul, but when they said it was 30 seconds, and then 30 seconds later they said 20 seconds left, I'm like, well, this is the dumbest thing I ever jumped up to volunteer to do as well. But all for the Speed Palace, all for the good time up at Port Royal. It was fun.
It was a good time. Yes, it was. They always seem to have a lot of fun up there, and that was a good time. I mean, unfortunately, we got rained out for a couple of days, but we made the best of it.
For sure. Paul, thanks for the time. We wish you the best. I always appreciate your breakdown of things. Wish you the best for Ohio Speed Week, Pennsylvania Speed Week, and I know we'll talk to you down the road real soon.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on the show. You guys take care.
There we go. Paul McMahan, breaking it down. That's what I was just like, who can we get to describe what they're getting ready to go through? There's nobody better than Paul.
Yeah, for sure. He's been through it so many times. It's, you're not going to find a bigger expert at this point than Paul.
For sure. And the travel issues, Monday
man.
when I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh. My biggest fear is that I get on a plane and here comes Paul McMahon down the aisle. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yep.
Yeah. The good news is I'm traveling out of Charlotte where we don't even have TSA agents anymore. So we'll have plenty of warning. What a mess we've got here at our airport. So always good to hang out and chat with Paul McMahan. Over the years, DRYDENE has stood for uncompromised value and proven performance. Known as the hardest working brand in heavy-duty lubrication, DRYDENE's heritage is made in America and made to last. DRYDENE products work to increase the life and enhance the efficiency of your equipment in the toughest conditions. Learn more about DRYDENE's products at DRYDENE.com. From grassroots racing to NASCAR, DRYDENE is a proud supporter of racing everywhere. For a year-round high-quality eating experience, look no further than Sage Fruit apples, pears, and cherries. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking. Wing Nation, presented by DRYDENE, by DRF Racing Oil. Justin Fiedler and Steve Post talking sprint car racing. And sprint car racing, Midget Week is going on, but how about this? The 26th and 27th annual Dirt Late Model Dream from Eldora is ongoing right now. Live this weekend, Flow Racing. $250,000 on the line for the best drivers in the country at the world's greatest dirt track. Subscribe today by going to flowracing.com/MRNDream. In-depth articles, all-access films, interviews, expert analysis, and more at your fingertips. Subscribe today by going to flowracing.com/MRNDream. That's flowracing.com/MRNDream. Going to be fascinating to see what happens up at Eldora this weekend with all of the dirt late model world focused on two of the big ones.
Yeah, 2 big ones this year.
Doubling everything.
We got both of them.
I know. How about that? I can't wait. I'm going to. I've never been to a King's Royal, so I'm going to knock 2 off in about 3 days time period.
Yeah, there you go.
It's great. I'm excited about that. Hotel room is booked. Everything is good to go.
Nice.
I was thinking about flying up, but with the Charlotte airport situation, driving might be quicker. So.
Yeah. Not that far.
Not that far. No, it'll be good. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars active this weekend. This is one of the big ones we always look forward to, Knoxville Raceway.
Mm-hmm.
We will see. Brian Brown has looked really, really good and downright invincible at times out there.
Yep.
Gio Scelzi looked good last week.
Won last week, yeah.
stay tuned. Now the big boys are coming into town. Let's see how they all stack up. I love this one.
Yeah, for sure. Knoxville, I mean, what hasn't been said about Knoxville? Such a fantastic place, and nice to see them getting a full season in. And these guys are going to come in here this week, and a good opportunity to get tuned up for the Nationals
for sure.
in August. So.
Yeah, for sure. Flow Racing All-Star Circuit of Champions. We talked about Ohio Speed Week. Attica Friday, Fremont Saturday, Wayne County on Monday. They have Sunday off. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What are
It'll
they
be fine.
about? What are they worried about? Sharon, Waynesfield, Muskingum County, Limaland, Portsmouth. We'll talk all about those next week. Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour is off this weekend. They are ready for one of the sweet tours that they go on. Every year in June, they go out west. They do Skagit, Grays Harbor, and Skagit.
Mm-hmm.
And bless their hearts, all it is whitewater rafting and salmon eating pictures. I mean, it's like, I hope you guys get buttoned up from all the fun to get to Grays Harbor and to Skagit to race these races. Yeah. I mean, it is just, you talk to anybody on that Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, and that is the premier 2 weeks to go out there.
Yeah, for sure. Great racing, great racetracks. And ASCS this year is sneaky good.
Yeah, it is. You kind of had, I mean, we obviously had Sam doing what Sam was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But with him going, you're like, okay, Blake's doing good. He won a regional race this year. He's doing good.
JJ Hickle winning a couple races in there.
Phenomenal.
Ryan Timms.
Yeah, Ryan Timms all of a sudden. And the thing that's been interesting about it is that now we start to get into the rhythm section of it. So we're going to see who does good on this West Coast swing. I mean, Hickle's from out that way.
Yep.
Tim's from the Midwest, but Hickle's from out that way. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. And then once they get back, once they start rolling into Knoxville and then into the summer months, who can get that rhythm, because it is wide open. We talked about it being wide open, and I think it's a little bit more wide open than we thought.
When you talk about Flow Racing, make sure you get your Flow Racing subscription so you can watch these races.
Absolutely. Great stuff. The regional racing action, they're in Arkansas, Montana on Friday night. Frontier region is again in Montana, Billings, Montana on Saturday, and the Lone Star region's at Super Bowl Speedway in Greenville, Texas on Saturday night. So neat stuff for sure. Just all kinds of racing action, folks. You can find out here's where my list comes from. TJ Slideways.
Yep.
Love
the
TJ
calendar
Slideways.
at TJ Slideways.
TJ Slideways. IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints there at Hartford, Jacksonville, Lernerville. King of the West has a doubleheader this weekend. Ocean Speedway in Placerville. We'll see how Dominic Selzy fares.
Yep. Points leader out there right now.
Points. How about that? Dominic Selzy. That to me is fascinating. I'll be honest and get your take on this. California, we've talked to Bud Kading a lot and Dominic Selzy recently about this. California sprint car racing. One of the theories that Bud had is, could you imagine if we kept half our talent here?
Oh my God. I mean, there's already a ton of talent there, but you start talking about Kyle Larson, Carson Macedo, now Cole Macedo out in Ohio, like JJ Hickle. We were just talking about
Buddy Kofoid.
I mean, it's incredible all of the talent that's come out of there. But like honestly, I want to see some more guys come out of there. Like I want to see Justin Sanders out racing with the All-Stars and the Outlaws right now.
He's the one right there that fascinates me. He is. Yeah. The good news is that Bud is on top of his game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Bud is rolling.
Yeah.
The only problem Bud has is Dominic.
Yeah.
Is rolling a little bit better, but Bud's like second ever, those two. And to me, it's like, I love that the young talent, I just am like, but now the established guys, Dominic moving back there is good for everybody.
Oh, for sure.
It's great for everybody and the family business and everything. So you can kind of have your mainstays and your young talent. And then with the races that Peter Murphy is having, with the King of the West, when the Outlaws roll through, maybe we can get some of these 360 guys like Justin Sanders to get a little bit more 410 seat time.
When you start talking about DJ Neto and Shane Golobic and Ryan Bernal, I mean, like, there's just so much talent out there. It's
DJ
incredible.
appears to be another guy that looks like he's staying in California. He's had visions of traveling, but the family business,
he's big in the family business.
Big in the family business. And so, but that's the thing with California. It's like, man, if you can get Selzy and Neto and Bud and one or two other mainstays, and then all these kids coming in and out, and kids coming back. Austin McCarroll's out there racing this year, too.
With the Tarletons,
Yeah, with the Tarletons. Great stuff. River City Speedway has the Nosa Sprints, Williams Grove, Saturday night, Lincoln, Port Royal, St. Francis, Wilmot, and Sunday racing. I love we have Sunday racing now with Huset's.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Tri-City Raceway Park. I'm telling you, all kinds of racing.
Oh, yeah. It's you're at that point in the year where there's just, it's like everywhere you look, there's good
great
racing.
stuff. Dirt Racer, everything good over there? What all? What would you have? Do you have any dream conversations coming up? What are you working on there with Dirt Racer?
I am, kind of all over the place, and we got the Daily Show Monday through Friday. You can find that on YouTube and DirtTracker.com, and then try to just find cool people to talk to and do my my conversations episodes, and just had Brian Walker on, who a lot of people know as Walkipedia.
Walkipedia, that guy.
Talking Midget Week, and had Ross on last week to do an Open Red reunion show. So just lots of fun stuff, and like I said, there's just so much good racing right now. It's easy to do.
You are a very analytical person, especially with coding and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Walkipedia.
The stats.
With Brian, the stats.
Yeah. It's incredible. And like I am kind of with him on that. DirtTracker.com has like this huge analytics section. And so like the fact that he's so big into that stuff, and he does a great job like at the Chili Bowl with the passing points.
The Chili Bowl is just ridiculous. I'm like, what mainframe computer is he sitting in front of?
It's incredible. And like I had him on last week, just, we talked Midget Week, but then his knowledge of the micro world and the outlaw carts and all the kind of kids coming up, and then, the next names we're going to be talking about, his knowledge of that stuff is incredible.
Buddy up to him when it comes to the Chili Bowl pool next year. That's who I need to buddy up with.
For sure.
That's who I need to buddy up with.
Yeah.
All right, I'll dial him up. That's cool. Justin Fiedler with DirtRacer.com. Did I do Dirt Tracker?
DirtTracker.com.
DirtTracker.com. Our next Wing Nation Roadshow is the Showdown. We're going to be at Houston's 50 for the Houston's 50 and the Jackson Nationals, the final full week of the month of June.
A lot of money on the line.
A lot of money on the line. Woo. It's going to be great. That is for sure. Wing Nation Apparel. If you're going to the Ohio Speed Week, it will be on the All-Star Circuit of Champions trailer all week long, or you can go to wingnation.com. Wing Nation television program, Zeb Wise, speaking of the All-Stars, he is our guest. That is this weekend on MAV TV, and we do appreciate you checking that out. You can follow along on all our social channels as well, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. He's Justin Fiedler. I'm Steve Post. Thanks for joining us this week here on Wing Nation, presented by DRYDENE and DRF Racing Oils.